Check, check, check. Check one, check two. Are we on? Are we in? Are we coming through? It's G representing the Academy, a independent, thought-provoking organization. Independent because we're not sponsored by the big boy. I mean government. We're not. 9 out of 10 jobs have some form of government sponsorship. Did you know that? 9 out of 10. That's not an exaggeration. That's according to the government official statistics. Um, Depending upon where you lived, it was between 7 and 8 out of 10 jobs last year across the country had some form of government sponsorship. But now it's 9, and the only way is up, as they say. Strange that. And yet not, if you think about the schools, the administrations, the councils, the hospitals, the police, the army, all the layers of bureaucracy out there to tie our hands. Which is what they are when there's too much, when there's too many laws. You can't just keep adding laws to laws. You can't keep adding rules to the rule book. Eventually, everything just, I don't know, coagulates maybe. And it becomes a nightmare to try to do anything. Eventually, it gets to the point where you can't start a business without breaking a law because you have to be in two different places holding two different pieces of paper at the same time. It gets to the point where the laws and the rules conflict with each other. And that's the problem of the Roman system. When you do things by the book, and the book just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah, how are you going to cope with that? That's what we're facing right now is a slow down, a gradual grind to a halt of the turning of the wheels of Western culture. Because there isn't enough independence. There's not enough promotion of independent livelihood, of independent business. Even if you do have an independent business, you tend to rely on consumers or customers who work for the state, right? Say you have a little shop. The people are going to your little shop to buy your snacks or cards or um, gifts or whatever it is that you're selling, right? Um, the people who need your services, the people who use your garage, they probably work for the state. Even if you've got a bigger company, even if you're just a secretary in a bigger company, say that bigger company has contracts with the state, or it has contracts to repair the heating systems in buildings or houses of people who work for the state. Or it's a charitable organization that survives on donations from the state and or people who work for the state and or people who have contracts with the state. Hell, even if you're a drug dealer, your clients, right? Yeah. Even if you're not working and government supported, the money that is incoming is from the state. The money that pays for housing benefit is from the state. The money that covers, in some cases, some instances of healthcare is from the state. If there is any healthcare, as doctors and dentists have not been working for 3 months, and that can't be a good thing, right? Can't be a good thing at all. But that's the system that we have now. And I think the greatest problem is with the human imagination, in the sense that people can't perceive that anything different is possible. They really can't. Think about all the jobs connected to universities, all the studies that are going on, all the government business incubator elevator groups, right? And then what happens when government owns everything? What happens then? Yeah, even the big organizations were originally funded and set up and government orientated. Your IBM, your Microsoft was supported, I think, at the beginning. Your Amazon, your NASA, whatever, right? I mean, it's okay to get a little boost at the beginning, right? Some would argue it's necessary sometimes. I don't know. Maybe the hardship of the problem will lead you to a better understanding of real sustainability. Not sustainability in the sense of sustaining things that should fail, because something should fail, right? Some things should fail. You shouldn't win some games. You should lose. You should lose. People don't want to lose, right? A lot of the time they're scared. People are afraid to put themselves out there. They're afraid to say what they really think. They're afraid to tell what they know. They live in fear. And this increasing size of the state is just a statement and a stamp on the terrorism of government over people. Once again, when people fear the government, there is only tyranny. But when government fears the people, there is some extension or element of freedom and liberty. Trending on Twitter today, defund the BBC. Yeah, and the trouble is that it's a good idea, but oftentimes, as I've experienced personally, change doesn't make things better. We change things, let's tear down these statues to put up new ones. Let's burn these. Change doesn't always mean something better. And part of the reason for that is that we misunderstand history. The mysteries of history are in fact just that, mysteries. Mysteries. Look around. How much do you understand about the world that is built? Where did the buildings come from? Who built them? Where did the walls come from? Why are they there? You know, I was looking at plans of towns a little bit yesterday, because I do that, because I like looking at different things to try to understand them. And if you look at the towns of this region of the north of Scotland, or maybe in some of the villages you see some kind of ribbon development where the houses sort of appear one by one going down a road, but those communities are dying in essence. But if you look at the small towns, you can see how they were planned. Just look at a map, look top down. You can see how they were blocked out, how they were arranged. And people had to sit down and plan that and organize that and do that hundreds of years ago. The people today are very much living in the now. They're very disconnected from not just the past of history and culture, but the past that is their own past, their family, their history, their genetic lineage. Let's wander through a few thoughts related to what is happening in and around us in the world today. Let's try to make some sense of the madness of the masses, the madness of the crowds, the madness of the groups. Once involved in a group, right? Once involved in a group, we lose ourselves to a certain extent. We lose ourselves to the goals and aims of the group, which might have good intentions at first, at the beginning. But once those with good intentions are removed from the process, or they get tired, or they move on, we have to be careful with the organization of things that are left behind. You might be good, but who are you leaving what to, or what are you leaving who to, right? Think about it. Sun doesn't shine all the time. And in a place like this, where it rains a lot, it's good to find an activity that you can do in the rain. Right? It's good to use that to your advantage. Farmers know that. Farmers know that. I had a discussion with someone the other day about education being Marxist now. Education being a platform for Marxism. And what is Marxism? The illusion of equality. False choices. You can choose, but you're never free to say no. Think about this quote. People who do not see their choices do not believe they have choices. They tend to respond automatically, blindly. Blindly influenced by their circumstances and conditioning. Mindfulness, by helping us notice our impulses before we act, gives us the opportunity to decide whether to act and how to act. Being aware is always some level of understanding and care. Looking at your environment, wondering, what is this and where did that come from? Understanding the past, the lost past. Realizing that there are cities under cities. Right? Look at the world and understand there's a world beneath the world that we know. A world of puzzles. A world of uncomfortable changes. A world of dungeons. And we've forgotten the past a lot of the time. That's why we should always seek activities that are memorable. We should seek to create memories that are anchors of our own experience to help remind us of who we are, where we are, and how we can teach others. You have to be aware. You have to pay attention to all of the details, because everything you do matters. Everything is important. You don't know yet quite how important it is, but it is. It is. Everything around you is a key, is a sign, is a symbol, is a square, is a compass, is a G in the keystone above the door. Right? Be aware of the places that hold the knowledge. Be aware of the gatekeepers, the masters, those who stood under the mast, beneath the stars. Those who understood and still understand. The principles, the truths that have not changed down throughout time. That the sun is the one. That the sun on the body brings life. It protects. And those that try to protect us from the sun. Same people that sell us diet products, which are less healthy. The same people that dose us with radiation for our own benefits. The same people that said, use fluoride to brush your teeth. Same people that gave fluoride pills to kids in schools. Right? Same people. Same people that dump fluoride in the water. Same people. Same people that tell you where to go, what to do, how to think. The people involved in the reconditioning of the world through education as a form of indoctrination rather than a form of natural evolution. There are those who seek to change society, to change humanity, to change what it means to be a human being, to change our concept of civilization, to change our concept of knowledge. It's always puzzled me the value of information. The idea that you can cross a border and what you know on one side of the border means nothing to the people on the other side. Compartmentalized knowledge, a controlled system. One of the things that schools don't teach is the systems of society, the systems of organization, the systems of the system, the systems of government, the institutions of the world. They don't teach that. They don't want you to know. They don't want you to know where to go or who to go to. They don't want you to know that the World Health Organization is a private company. Right? They don't want you to know who sits at the round tables of economic investment and development. They don't want you to know about the Club of Rome and the other societies and groups and councils of relations. Don't want you to know. Because when you do know, you understand how society is being reshaped. You begin to understand what cybernetics is. You begin to understand that the cyber systems are nothing new. These concepts have been around for thousands of years. Reinvented, reinvigorated, reintroduced. Usually through systems of education. And then controlled. Controlled. Nothing on a grander scale is anything that happens by accident. Independent.co.uk reports the Australian town where a paedophile epidemic has hit 90% of children. Yes, these people ruin the world. Yep, they ruin it. An Australian town is in the grip of a paedophile epidemic with 90% of school-aged children suffering abuse, police have warned. 36 men have been charged with more than 300 offences against 184 children after an investigation uncovered a staggering rate of abuse in Roebourne, Western Australia. And this is not even including the fact that the German government got caught running paedophile rings across their own country. The state's child protection minister said the scale of the epidemic was so vast that child sex abuse had become normal in the remote former gold rush town, which has a largely Aboriginal population of about 1,410. The AB original population. Yeah. But go back to the music, go back to the films, go back to the headlines, go back to the distractions, the sports and the entertainment and the detainment. Go back to that. Go back to the idea that all these rules and regulations and laws are here to help you and protect you and improve the quality of your life. And then realize that a lot of them are based on nothing. Nothing at all. What's the science of social distancing? The real science, not the socially acceptable science. The real science. The real science is that it's not a science. And social distancing is a religion. It's a belief system not based on any science. It's a ritual submission to your new overlords, to your new feudal masters. Just like wearing a mask, nothing more than a muzzle that prevents you from communicating properly. And on average, within about 5 seconds, reduces your oxygen intake to toxic levels. To toxic levels. To toxic levels. Yep. And then when the second wave of flu hits, down they fall like dominoes. Telegraph.co.uk reports lockdown and social distancing could make our immune system weaker, says scientist. Don't get weaker. I'm getting weaker. No, don't get weaker. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger if you understand it, and it doesn't kill you. Prolonged periods of lockdown, cocooning the public from germs could leave people dangerously vulnerable to new viruses. A leading epidemiologist has warned. Sentra Gupta, professor of theoretical epidemiology. Theoretical epidemiology, is that a subject? Why not just study epidemiology? Why study theoretical? I mean, does it need to be theoretical? Why shouldn't we study practices? I don't know. It just seems that we've inflated academia by adding words to create positions. Words, Mr. Wordsworth. Sunitra Gupta, professor of theoretical epidemiology at the University of Oxford, fears intense social distancing could actually weaken immune systems because people are not exposed to germs and so do not develop defenses that could protect them against future pandemics. Right. Clear as day. Yeah? Clear as day. Clear as day. But don't worry. Don't worry about it. You've got your new code. You've got your orders. You've got your instructions to follow. They're everywhere. Right? Stay at home when told to. Queue where instructed. Wear a face mask when ordered. Go out only when permitted. Socialize only when allowed. Clap and kneel on command, on demand. Desire to be followed and tracked and traced and tagged and spied and snitched on. But don't worry, you get to vote at the local selection. Be subservient to authority and obey without question. Yep. The people are on a leash. The people are on a leash now. What do? Share, grow, learn, experience, go out, Realize when fear is taking over and crush it. Realize that danger exists. We all have to live with danger, but we don't have to live in fear. We don't have to live in fear. Have the conversations that you need to have and listen to the conversations that you need to listen to. Understand that you're going to have good days and bad days. Understand that it's going to be cold sometimes. Understand that you're going to be too hot sometimes. Understand that you're allowed to have your own experiences. Understand you're allowed to have your own thoughts. Understand that the greatest limiter on you is you. Once you start to police yourself, it's over. Don't take the rap for the crimes of the past. The future is all you need. And if there's a voice in the back of your mind that's negative, know that that's not your voice. Silence the negativity by drowning it in a flood of appreciation and gratitude. That's the only positive attitude. Don't hold yourself back. Life is short. It's as sweet as you want it to be. Accept the personal challenges, and then you are free to improve. But remember, the demons are in the details of the changes. As I've already stated, not all changes are positive. We only understand that by understanding the past. What's in a name? A new frame, an understanding, a key to fame. The realizing that the renaming erases the past and is just insane. Yet at the same time, bravery exists. It's not just a word. It's not just a word. There is courage within all of us. We're not given the opportunity to explore that. One of the many, many things that school never gives you credit for. It never gives you credit for your courage, right? It never gives you credit for your sanity. It never gives you credit for your independent study. It never gives you credit for helping other people. What it does create is subservience and loneliness. I think there's a great Gatto speech about that. I think it's the 6 or 7 lesson school teacher. Check out John Taylor Gatto's work on education, where he says one of the fundamental teachings is boredom. That teachers encourage students to get comfortable with boredom. Crazy, huh? Crazy. Or maybe not. Maybe you're comfortable with it as well. Maybe you're comfortable with the graffiti. Maybe you're comfortable with the aggression. Maybe you're comfortable with the tearing down of things. Maybe you're comfortable with the paint on the street. Maybe you're comfortable with the vandalization of your culture, of your heritage. As the kids use their iPhones to tear down the state, they forget that the iPhones are slave factories where people just wait for death. Where does it come from? Do you even know? Shut up, sit down. Don't upset the status quo. And just in case you missed it, daily confirmed C19 deaths per million drop like a rock. Yep. We test more people. We get more positives, false positives, negatives. More people are tested, but the death rate goes down. More cases are confirmed because the tests for any of the body's reactions to any coronavirus. So there is no specific isolated test for COVID-19. Sorry to break it to you. Sorry to break it to you. Sorry to have to be the one. Right? Sorry to have to remind you that you have to think. Sorry to have to remind you that we're led by clowns, that government is a circus, a council of people dressed up on parade, a giant societal charade. Yeah, guys, go out, go on, protest. Defund the police, fund me to defund the police. Replace them with community gangs. That will work out. You know, I protested against the police. I've had my negative experiences with the police. The question is, who you're going to call, right? In a violently aggressive society, in a brutalized society, who you going to call? When the only way to solve problems is by force, who you going to call? It's interesting in Star Wars that on the light side, the energy they use is called the Force. The Force. Force, huh? That's how you make change, right? Pressure. Feel the pressure. Feel the pressure as the protesters face off with their face masks and their helmets and their ski goggles. This would be comedy at any other point in time in history. This would be comedy. If you don't know bad when you see it, if you haven't learned to recognize it, if you don't have those canine instincts, oh, we're in trouble. If you don't get around the right people, if your friends don't slap you upside the head when you make a stupid mistake, and then comfort you, and then slap you upside the head again, right? Because that's what friends are for. Not to tell you everything's going to be okay, not to tell you everything's going to be alright, not to tell you not to worry. Sometimes you've got to get the car out of the garage. Society is going to sell you all these false paradigms. It's going to sell you all these false dichotomies. It's going to sell you all these Hegelian dialectics. Strength in numbers. That's the mob. That's the mob mentality. That's the mobbing of the world. Strength in numbers is bullshit. That's just the madness of crowds. Don't you know? The madness of crowds. Remain far from the madding crowd. Right. Every picture tells a story, don't it? Or so it seems. Or so it seems. Every picture tells a story, right? What's the magic word? What's the magic word? Is it please? Is it thank you? Or is it a reactionary word? Is it an ist or an ism? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And society falls. Civilizations fall. And they fall before they fall. They fall before people have realized that they've fallen. Once you ruin the foundation, the building will crumble. Once you ruin the infrastructure, once you ruin the families, once you ruin the education, once you ruin the independence, the understanding, once you corrupt morality, once you addict people to their own destruction. Yeah. Action News reports, Chicago man fatally shot 2 teens after they asked how tall he was. Because maybe it's normal. Maybe it's normal that there's no outrage. Maybe it's normal. Maybe we've all lost our minds in the matrix of reality. Or then again, maybe we need to remember that we're here to help each other, that we're here to encourage each other, that we're here to coach each other, that we're here to love each other. Maybe we need to remember. Maybe we need to remember that the weapon is not the enemy. The enemy is the enemy. Right? If they get you to focus on the weapon, then you don't understand who or what is behind what is happening. Stay focused on the problem, not the distraction. Not the distraction. The truth is that we've seen a lot of lost opportunities recently. We've seen a year when people actually had the momentum to make systematic changes and reforms. But they decided to hand over the reins of their organizations and the movements and societies to others. They didn't step up to the reality of a real responsibility. And the result is that history burns. History burns. Princeton University is removing Woodrow Wilson's name from its buildings due to his racist thinking and policies. Right? Perhaps we should also repeal the federal income tax and the Federal Reserve as well. Perhaps. Perhaps. Right? Or perhaps we should grow up. Perhaps we should begin to understand. I mean, why should people who never owned slaves give money to people who never were slaves? What is this repatriation about? What is it about? Do you know? Do you understand? Will you submit? Can you do the basic math? Are you enjoying your lockdown? Are you enjoying the tyranny? Are you enjoying the lack of freedom? Are you enjoying being on the plantation? Are you enjoying being an animal in the animal farm? But what? What if? What if we changed? What if people of every race hugged each other? What if? But no. Keep your distance. Fear everyone. Fear everything. Fear understanding that what you see is what you choose to see, and what you ignore is what you choose to ignore. Belief is then defined by your curiosity. And a little girl waking up. Right? You need curiosity. You need the challenge. You need the escape. You need the risk. Adversity to risk will just lead you to avoid life. Too many business people scared right now, frightened to talk, frightened to open up their businesses, frightened to say what they think, frightened to send messages. Truth is, business exists to both create and remove risk. It's a duality. It pulls from both sides. But don't worry, keep the mask on, even though within 5 seconds of wearing the masks, oxygen level drops into the danger zone. Yeah, I went to the danger zone. Gonna get you right into the danger zone. Something like that, right? Something like that. Do 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 do. Don't forget. Don't forget to have an adventure, right? Don't forget. Don't forget to listen and learn, right? Don't forget. Don't forget who the devils are. Don't forget. Don't forget to listen. Don't forget. Data from Australia. Girls who took the Gardasil vaccine have a 6 to 7 times higher cervical cancer rate than others. And this is depending upon at which age you live or you survive. Oh yeah. Check the statistics. Information research by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. The verdict is now inescapable. The future, however, is whatever you want it to be. You can choose to be free, or you can choose to be a slave. You can choose to live, or you can choose to dig your own grave. You can choose to get out in the water. You can choose to swim, or you can choose to drown. You can choose to wake. You can choose to sleep. You can choose to dream or not. You have to find your own. You have to find your own way. Hello over there, little girl, who fell asleep in our bed last night. Did you sleep okay? Yeah. Cool. Cool. Just give me a minute and I'll be finished with this. I hope. I hope. Right. So think about everything. Think about not letting others have control over you. Think about how you control your life. Think about the currency, and not just money. There's many forms of currency. Your words, your actions, your thoughts. Seek out other energies. Utilize all of the resources around you. Find new sources. Find new sources. So my name's G. I represent the Academy. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope I gave you something to think about today. Live your life your way. Looks like there's something out there in the water, in the sea. Some dolphins jumping around. There's dolphins. Wow! Giant splashes. Wow! Wow! Huge dolphins jumping out of the ocean. Incredible! Absolutely incredible. Wow! Zora, go tell Mom and everyone else. There's dolphins just leaping out. Look! Wow! Again, leaping out high out of the ocean. Wow! Absolutely incredible. Wow. Absolutely incredible. Wow. Huge. Wow. Oh wow. I gotta go watch the dolphins. I gotta finish this. My name's G. Represent the Academy. I'm off to watch the dolphins. Reach me through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, the Academy of Language Therapy and Life Coaching. Have a great day wherever you are, and yeah, have a great day wherever you are. And as always, don't forget to tell the ones you love that you love them. Cool. I'm off to watch the dolphins. Dun, dun, dun. See ya.